Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had to appear before the Senate Appropriations Committee this week to talk about Donald Trump's proposed budget for his agency. And Kennedy immediately lost his cool. Like, the guy had absolutely no self-control whatsoever. He came in there with a list of talking points that he wanted to spew out. But luckily, Democratic Senator Patty Murray from Washington wasn't going to let him just steamroll things. And that caused Bobby to absolutely lose it during this hearing, to the point where he began shouting in his raspy, horrible voice at Democratic Senator Patty Murray because he got so angry and could not control himself. So, for those of you who have not seen it or those who just want to see it again, here is Robert F. Kennedy losing his shit on Patty Murray, and then, by the way, at the end, sheepishly admitting, after he accused her of lying, that actually everything she said was correct. Here it is.
Secretary Kennedy, whose decision was it to withhold child care and development block grant funding?
Senator, I want to point out that in 2021, at the beginning of his administration, President Biden submitted his budget on May. You know what? You made an accusation to me, and I'm going to answer it.
Okay, I appreciate
On May
that.
28th, he submitted his budget. So our budget. We're a new administration.
Okay, you can go.
And I also want to point out.
I have just 2 minutes left. I asked you a specific question.
I want to point out something, Senator. You presided here, I think, for 32 years. You presided over the destruction of the health of the American people.
Well,
our people are now the sickest people in the world.
Seriously.
Because you have not done your job.
Seriously. That is an
What have you done about it? What have you done about the epidemic of chronic disease?
Mr. Secretary,
what have you done about the epidemic of chronic disease?
Seriously, Madam
Secretary,
Chairman.
I would ask it to hold back and let the senator ask the questions.
Mr. Secretary, I'm asking you a question about child care. I'm asking you who made the decision to withhold child care and development block grant funding.
That was made by my department.
First and foremost, settle down there, Hoggle. It definitely was not worth getting that worked up about. But again, my favorite thing about that entire exchange is that he starts off by saying, like, you made an accusation about me and I'm going to defend it. Like, an accusation, and I'm going to correct it, right? So he's like, you're lying straight off the bat. And then at the end, he's like, well, that was my department. So she wasn't lying. So you admit that you got all worked up for nothing? You got worked up because she called you out and you thought you could go and steamroll this woman, but she held her ground. She wasn't taking your bait. She wasn't going to get into a shouting match with you. She had composure. She is a true statesman. You, on the other hand, are a conspiracy peddling lunatic hopped up on testosterone, and that's what caused you to lose your crap. And then, of course, having to admit like a little child, you could see him pouting at the end of that video like, it was my department that did that. He was so pissed off that he had to admit that it was absolutely hilarious. And yeah, for the record, I know people who know him very well. And yeah, you know, they've said he's on testosterone, which, hey, good for him if he needs it, whatever. But also at the same time, you're taking medications and you're denying that same privilege to hundreds of millions of Americans, right? We got that new COVID vaccine, the Novavax, spent 4 years in clinical trials, proven safe and effective, and your department came out and said, nope, not everybody can have it. Only those with at least one pre-existing condition. Meanwhile, you're over there taking your testosterone. I don't know if you're still getting your Botox injections for your vocal cords. Doesn't sound like you are doing that anymore, but I know it's something you used to do. So all of these experimental treatments for you and none of these FDA-approved treatments for everybody else. You know, that is a sad reality about this man that everybody needs to know. He is a gigantic hypocrite. So yeah, he's doing all this other crap and denying Americans the ability to take these FDA-approved medications. That's the kind of person we're dealing with. And clearly it's having an effect on him. Like, unable to keep his emotions in check because he got called out. That's not a normal reaction, by the way. She was right, and you would eventually admitted that she was right. And for the record, you're like, what have you done in 32 years? In the Senate? What votes has the Senate had to regulate disease? Those are the kinds of things that come from the Department of Health and Human Services. What has she done? She's funded Health and Human Services, you piece of garbage. She voted to give people stimulus checks during COVID. Like, she has done what she needed to do. She has done what was within her authority to do. You, on the other hand, have been peddling conspiracies, making millions of dollars off of it, while doing God knows what to your own body. And now you're in charge of a department that is cutting research on infectious diseases, cutting grants for childhood medical treatments, and you have the audacity to yell at that woman, Democratic Senator Patty Murray, because she was brave enough to call you out. Did you know that you might be missing out on wonderful content from me? I mean, you're here already because clearly you like what you see. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, share them with your friends and family, but also follow me across the rest of the social media world. And it's not that hard to do. Whether it's X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, on every one of those platforms, you can find me at the username @FarronBalanced. Simple enough, right? So get on it. And if you don't feel like going to each one of those outlets individually, lucky for you, we have links in the description of this video to take you right to my pages across all of social media. So don't miss a minute. And while you're at it, make sure you're also subscribed to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel, which I have been hosting for many, many years now. We've got more than 1 million subscribers over there, and there is fresh content over there every single day of the week. So again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to this channel, and while you're at it, go subscribe to Ring of Fire at youtube.com/The Ring of Fire and @FarronBalanced across every social media platform that, of course, is not considered just a far-right hellscape. Well, maybe Twitter is, but that's a story for a different day.